if I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home.
Good morning and welcome to the Darkmom Consortium for April the 16th, 2020. Hope everyone's doing well today. I am. My fleets, however, are doing meh. And if you think about it, that doesn't make a lot of sense. We've got more players online right now than we've had in years. Because everyone, you, me, just about everybody else is stuck at home. And even if you're working from home, you still got a lot more downtime than you did before, which can work to your advantage. I will be the first to admit that. Not that I've been good about it, but I've been doing a lot more time on my computer, not just with working, but it means I get some more gameplay time in because I'm not spending 2 hours a day in the car, 3 hours a day in the car, wasting my half hour at lunch eating food when I could be playing Star Trek Online. I've gotten my priorities straight. But the problem is, as I said, my fleet is doing meh. Now, this is Strangers with Candy. Let me just jump out of there for a second. Which is an older fleet, and we do not use Strangers with Candy as a growing fleet. But it will give you an example of what we're dealing with here. SWC, like a lot of fleets, you'll see is running low on dilithium for projects, and that's because somebody put in a stupid project here, and we can't get rid of that one, but people don't want to give up their dilithium, and honestly, I don't blame them. So if you need to raise dilithium for your fleet, but you don't want to give it up out of pocket, well, you don't want to give up too much out of pocket, a couple of ways you can do it. The first one is don't select dilithium projects. Okay, so admittedly, that one's a little bit more challenging, as once you get up to tier 3 with everything, or in this case even tier 2, you're going to see that you're losing the ability to slot non-dilithium projects. Everything requires dilithium. There is an exception down in the starbase. Let's see if somebody's been smart down here. Yeah. In the starbase, people are slotting projects that require a lot of duty officers. That's not a problem, because once you've got some decent fleet credits, you'll notice I'm sitting on 4 million fleet credits, you can easily go to your starbase and then fill all these projects without spending any of your dilithium. EC, yeah, you're still going to spend EC, and of course it's pretty easy to run EC. Run missions. Pick up the drops. After you're done picking up the drops, oh, there I am, I'm already in the right spot. If you're at Earth Space Dock, you're going to come over and see the lovely person here in requisition. And you can sell back any of your drops for half the face value. So let's say you've got a plasma turret here. The face value is $24,829. If we sell it back to this lovely person, she's going to give us $12,000. Oops, we don't want to sell that one back. We want to sell that one back. And anything you're not going to use, my rule is if it's white or green, I'm selling it back. I don't use auxiliary batteries. And we're sitting on a ton of them in the fleet bank, so I don't care about those. And that's about it. Those are my whites and greens. But I've made a little bit of EC back on that one. So this tune is sitting on about 4.6 million. I like to have each tune running with 5 million. And I prefer to have 500 million, 500 billion would be lovely, in the bank for all of my tunes across the accounts. If you're running free to play, I was going to say free to play, you're going to have a smaller limit in your bank. So at the moment I've got 456 million. That's because I went out and bought myself an expensive ship the other day. Why did I buy a ship? Because I could. So there, yeah. But while I'm here, let's just take one moment since I'm here and I tend to forget about this. this is something we'll talk about in another day or two, is all of these data chips. There's an accolade for getting through all the lore. Here next, there we go. And most of my tunes aren't anywhere near that point. Let's see, let's just look at the ones in progress. So these are all the lore accolades that I haven't achieved yet. For example, History Volume 4, I'm missing 2 books, and then here are the individual books. So the history of New Romulus you can pick up on New Romulus, and we'll talk about that another time. But so how are we going to get some additional dilithium for the fleet without taking it out of our pockets, or better yet, doing it while putting some into our pockets? Well, with the revamp of the Admiralty, sorry, said that wrong on purpose, the Admiralty, where the Klingon Empire and the Ferengis used to pay dilithium to you, they now pay other benefits. In the case of the Klingons, which is what we're going to look at, it's going to create 40,000 fleet dilithium vouchers. These are fleet vouchers that can only go to fleet projects. If you're not in a fleet, this is not something that you want to spend your time and money on. If you're in a fleet and you're running short on projects, encourage yourself to run this on all of your tunes. Now you're saying to yourself, Mom, I used to get 40,000 dilithium for it. Well, you're not going to anymore. They got rid of it for both that and the Ferengi. The Ferengi gives you a benefit of a 30,000 dilithium ore bonus pool. That means once you hit the 10th level on this one, you're going to get a pool that for the first 60,000 dilithium you get after that, it matches it. For every 2 dilithium you get, it gives you 1 from here. So it's a 50% increase. So you do get a benefit from that one. Not immediate, it's not that lump. But if you're worried about doing it for your fleet, this is the one you want to look at. And you always want to get to tier 10 or level 10 on this one. And once you hit it, you can repeat it over and over. I'm surprised that a lot of people weren't aware of that, but we were chatting about it yesterday, and not everyone knew how much you could make for doing nothing. So you can run this over and over and over. Does it take a few minutes? Yes, it absolutely does. One thing you want to pay attention to is your pass tokens, too. If you've got 50 pass tokens, this is per account. That's great. That means if you run into something where you don't have the ability, or you see that an upcoming mission pays a lot of dilithium, great. So anyway, go into each one. Don't just jump back going, oh, Mom, none of these have dilithium. I'm just going to skip them, which you can do. But this is where you actually want to look. There are event rewards that come down here. Now this one's 15, 15, and 110 for no reward. Is that worth it? It might be. If you were to put on your Phoenix Replica Smallcraft, it would drop this down to a little bit more reasonable level. At the same time, you might want to save that for something that's really important. So we're going to take that one out of there. And it doesn't want us to clear the slot, and we know we've got to try and fill 110. So let's go ahead and take one of our big ships like the Sally Ride. That puts a huge dent in that. Now I just have to come up with another 31 dilithium, 31 science. We'll look for the cheapest 31 we've got here. There we go, 12, 12, 36 is pretty cheap. We can begin that one. We're going to go through all of these the same way. This one, let's go back here, doesn't show any bonus, but when you go in and you look, there's 500 dil right here. So let's see how we can do this the easiest way possible. 2045, so we're really looking for something that's a good tack ship. Yeah, that one's not bad, and that leaves us with 2 to get in engineering and 6 to get in science. We'll do it the easiest way possible. This one gives you 50,000 EC. Remember, we use EC like crazy. It's a little tough because we've got 100 up front. But again, we've got the big Stadi. A lot of the big ships are heavy enough to pull off these numbers easily. So I try and kill the biggest thing first. 6085, I'm going to go for a tack ship. And here's another 500 event reward. So we're going to get a good amount of dilithium out of this one. I don't make the mental calculation of including these guys when I'm doing my daily totals. And I'm thinking to myself, there we go. I need to get 8,000 per day just to break even, so my goal is to actually get about 9,000, and I plot out 9,000, not including this. Now this one doesn't give much of a reward. There's some rare R&D materials, but we can use these. You'll notice rubidium is one of them, and we like our rubidium. 4 rubidium, 4 tetrazine, 4 beta tachyon, and 4 Z particles. Yeah, this is a good investment. Why is it a good investment when we're thinking about getting dilithium? Well, remember, it's not just dilithium, our dilithium, that's going to pay for stuff. It's other people's dilithium. And we're going to get there in a minute. Okay, this is the one we really want. Klingon Empire Tour of Duty, 8 of 10. So there's no dilithium, because this one strictly pays off in the rewards and moving us up towards the 10 of 10. So there's 155 in the engineering, and I don't know if I've got a big, strong engineering, manly engineering ship. Got a Gaylord, that's not bad. That's going to give me about a third of the way there. So now I need 100 here, and I need 60 down in Psi. So let's go look for one of those big ships. The He is a good one here. So now we're looking at 30, 10, and 11. This isn't bad at all. Well, I hear somebody's joining us. Let's take a peek over there and chat. Ooh, Mithy Y. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize, but good morning. How are you today? Thanks for the follow. I hope your fleet's doing well. Amazingly, we're moaning and groaning about how our fleet isn't doing well, and then somebody came back and was just astounded that we've got Tier 5 colony in our Federation fleet, and we're about 2 months away in our Klingon fleet, which hurts, but it's going to take some plodding along to get everybody to get it there. Hence, helping yourself while you're helping your fleet. So I've got this one filled. That's the big one. You'll notice down here, by the way, I've got a couple of dilithium rolling up, and I've got one up here that doesn't really give me a lot of reward for the investment. So this is when I'm going to do a pass. And that's going to bring up one of the ones down here. In this case, we've got one with 200 dilithium for a relatively small investment. It's a good one right there. Let's see if we can find something with 7 in the middle. That should do it. And we'll take this one down here. I do try and do the dill ones first. And if there's extra stuff after that's done, let's see. We need 15, 20, 15, 15, 42, 15. That works out just beautifully. And that's all we need to do for this. Now, if you're sticking with one tune, as these get cleared out, there's 3 hours, 1 hour, you're going to see them start to pop up with flashy green lights here in the Admiralty. Go ahead and clear those out, and you can load another project in. Just be aware that as your ships get through this, they go to maintenance to kind of recharge. Not a big problem. I have 88 ships total. I probably can get through this without ever having to worry about it. But before they made it easy to put all my ships there, a lot of times I didn't have every ship in there. I might have only had 30 ships. This is true with my Jem'Hadar. I just don't have the resources to constantly run this. The solution, of course, is to go through and make sure every ship that you can afford to get, you get. Don't go crazy about it, though. Same thing you can do here, but this is personal dilithium. This is just going to refill your coffers. So obviously you want to do it for your purposes, but it's not going to help your fleet. So let's get to part 2 of how to help your fleet out. So I was saying we've got EC. EC, you can run tons of projects. You can go off and do missions and sell all your EC to make sure you've got enough for you, and then make sure you've got enough for your fleet. EC is relatively easy to get and get rid of. And if anyone tells you they can't get rid of their EC, well, they're not trying. Bear in mind, if you're like me, one way that I collect my dilithium is to run the Reputation hourly missions. Now, when you run the hourlies, this is a long chain here, so bear with me. You're going to have to invest 7,500 EC for each one. You're also going to give up 15 marks. You're going to get 340 dilithium in return, and it doesn't show here, but you're going to get a prize. That prize is invariably worth at least 7,500 EC, because that's how much you put in it. more often than not, it's worth 10,000. So you wind up slightly ahead. And for anything between 5 and 20% of the goodies that are dropped, you're going to get one elite marker. If you're wondering what an elite marker is, elite markers would be Borg neural processors, omegas, mycelial canisters. What are those? Spore canisters. And while you can't sell those, boy, I love this little clock that pops up here to tell you you've got a project running. But sometimes it doesn't pop up very fast, so you're not sure entirely, did it start, did it not start, do I have to go back and look, blah, 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 blah. So remember how I said I wanted to do 8,000 per tune per day minimum? 9,000 per tune per day is better because it leaves you a little bit ahead of it. Okay, so let's go up and make sure we've got all of those loading. They're all loading. So as you do this, you're going to see that you've got, let's pull all those out of there, you have got these packages. Thank goodness that these things now stack. We're going to go back over to this nice lady here. We're going to come down here and we're going to open these. Now you can open them one at a time, or you can just click the heck out of them. Just don't overclick, because if you overclick, it's going to put that in your ship's equipment or your personal equipment, depending on what you're doing. Okay, there we go. We're going to go ahead and do that here. Yeah, I know there's a lot going on the screen. We won't do all of them. The one that's kind of a pain is the competitive equipment, because if you're not playing competitives, you don't need that stuff, and it takes up a lot of space. And for the next phase here, it's more difficult to get rid of. So we're going to go ahead and go to sell. I deliberately sorted everything before I started that, so that I would have more room to do this. By the way, please notice here we've got 2 isomorphic injections that popped up out of one of the boxes. I opened 27 boxes. We got 2 of those. 2 out of 27 is what? 8%? That's not bad. These things have no value directly, but they do have dilithium value. And we're just going to sell that off. Sort those out. We're going to come over here, we're going to take all of those, come back here, scroll it down. And if I'm going too fast for somebody, please let me know. Because one thing that drives me crazy when I'm doing stuff and watching YouTube to figure out directions is they fly through things the same way I'm doing, and I have to go back and watch it over and over. If you folks haven't watched ZE Films, he has a beautiful tutorial on how to use demo record, which is something we're going to get to very soon. But it goes by kind of quick, so I would have to stop it, go over to my demo record. Let's sort that first. Take what we can there. And listen to it over and 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 over. Good, we are done with that, and we'll see how that worked for us in just a moment. Okay, so I made 1.3 million on the boxes that I just opened. Now remember how I said about 25% of that, all of it will be what you invested, plus you get about a 25% boost on some things. So let's go for an average. Let's say 80% of that 1.3 million was my original investment. Okay. Let's pull up a calculator here. So 13000. Oops, take one of those out of there. And we're going to multiply it by 80%. So about 1 million of that is my original investment. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put that million back into my bank, which it already is. There it is. And the difference in that was about 300,000. So because this is the way I play my game, my investment has been recouped. I'm going to move 300,000 into my fleet bank, or I can put 300,000 into the project. Wrong one there. Let's go over here. Yeah, brain work. Early morning. Into the holdings. So this would be where I'd put 300,000 into one of the energy credit projects. Now, like I said, we're not using this particular fleet at the moment. This is actually our fleet bank. Our fleet bank's fleet bank. It's the Hogwarts. So anything that's extra that we're going to use, like for our upcoming party that we've run out of space for, we put everything here. This is going to be important in a few minutes. For everything else, though, I'm going to put that money. I keep my difference over 5 million in here. Today that's 869,000. Yes, type 390. I'm going to deposit that. And that's building me back up to the billion I like to keep in there. And I use some of that for fleet and some of it for stuff. Okay. So I was saying that's not the only way you can get people to invest in you. Getting them to use that Klingon Admiralty project gets them dilithium for doing the projects, but it gives them fleet vouchers that can only go to your fleet projects. So it's a win-win. They get dilithium, your fleet gets dilithium, and of course when they put it into the fleet project, they get fleet credit. Now, admittedly, as you can kind of tell, I'm not too worried about my fleet credits because I've got way too much of them at the moment. 4 million. And this is a fleet that isn't going to go anywhere, so I'm not going to be able to use that at my fleet stores. But since I'm a member of a bigger armada, I can request permission to go over and hit up their stores. And since, well, let's be honest, since I'm fleet admiral in most of those fleets, no problems. I can grant myself permission to do that. So can you. Okay, so these are the elite marks up here. And this isn't a tune that does a lot, but you can see I've got like 71 Voth cybernetic implants. This is something you might want to think about doing every now and then when you are low on fleet or you want to boost up a fleet project. I don't generally recommend this, but you can sell that. So which one am I looking at there? I'm looking at Borgs. So I have 55 Borg neural processors, for example. If I wanted to sell the neural processors, I get 1,000 dilithium for each 3. So I've got 55 down there. That's what, 17, 18 of them? I could do 18,000 dilithium ore by selling most of those. Do I want to sell most of them? No. I might want to build something. But am I going to need 55? No. Can I do something better with them? No, I really can't. Right now they just sit in my bank and take up space. So this is something you might want to consider if you need to boost your dilithium. This is not a great way to do it. And I would suggest if you've got anything you think you're going to build, currently the Discovery one, for example, has got some terrific equipment. You might want to think about trading in, or not trading in any of your Discovery stuff, but stuff where you don't think you're going to buy anymore. Go ahead. Hey, it just occurred to me, I'm not in Discord this morning. Let's see if anyone's in Discord this morning. Oh, Mewsin's there. Should I jump over and visit Mewsin? Good morning, Mewsin. How are you? Oh, you're very quiet. There you are. Hi. Hey, I'm doing a live stream. Would you like to join me, or shall I go back to just chatting to myself?
Let me get in here.
You don't have to. I'm just talking about dilithium mining and how it affects fleets. I'm not doing any missions or anything this morning. Just talking economy.
Well, I know that there's a whole lot of dilithium that has to go into a fleet.
Right, and what I'm trying to explain to folks is that while there's a lot of dilithium that goes into a fleet, and for that matter EC and other things, you don't have to kill yourself and give away all of your stuff if you do some of the other ways to do it. Yeah, like right. The Klingon Admiralty.
Oh, for one. for those who do actually know how to make a lot of EC using dilithium to then gain multiple dilithium sources and double up on revenue from stuff that they get. So you take the dilithium,
Mm-hmm.
you get the Phoenix boxes,
Okay.
right? And you get the upgrades out of that.
Right.
You take the upgrades,
Yes.
you upgrade something that's a lockbox weapon.
Okay.
You sell that for the EC.
Ooh.
You use the EC to buy keys.
Uh-huh.
And then while doing that, you're going to get vouchers.
Yep.
And those will help you out as well.
Cool. Somebody else is on. Let me jump over there real quick. Asylum Bob 99. Thank you for the follow.
But, that's how to get the most out of your buck. And because of, the upgrades that you get from the Phoenix box, while you're trying for a token, you can upgrade your own stuff, but you can upgrade random weapons to get DC real quickly.
Well, there's something else you can do with the upgrades, which is go ahead and do exactly what you said, but, and this is the fun part, bribery. So in our fleet prizes, here we've got tons of nice prizes. Our ground rule, if it's not worth 500,000, it doesn't go into a fleet prize. And then we do things like if you donate 10,000 or 100,000 dilithium to a project, we give you a prize. It's bribery, but it's good bribery. For example, we're going to come up on our KDF Fleet Colony 5 project is coming up. So when we're a little bit closer, we're going to start running raffles. And for every, let's say, 90,000 in dilithium that's donated, you get a ticket towards a Lobby ship. Somebody will put a Lobby ship up as a prize. You get to pick the Lobby ship. And we run a raffle, and at the very end, everybody gets a chance at a Lobby ship. In the past, though, we had one person who bought 80% of the tickets, made huge donations to the project, and didn't win the ship. The person who won the ship 2 times out of the 3 times we've done it was somebody who only donated or only bought 1 ticket. So the odds aren't against you if you only can afford to do it once. Rasul, so if I donate a genetic resequencer for regenerative tissue and hollow decoys, do I get some tickets? No, as a matter of fact, you don't. You get our thanks, Rasul, but you don't get a ticket. We're going to do tickets solely for doing dilithium, with the exception of this weekend. We're just doing giveaways. So, Rasul, if you want to get something, you can just be in the party over the weekend and get a shot at winning stuff. That's even easier. But when we do tickets, tickets are solely done for dilithium because that's the thing that's the hardest to raise. But yeah, I like what you said, Mewsin. I hadn't even thought of it that way, but that's a really good way to do it. When we get to the real raffle, Rasul, we'll have the directions and the rules all printed out so everybody knows exactly what you can and can't do.
No, it's what to do with the leftovers from trying to get what you're actually at.
Well, that's a really good point. Well, that's kind of how I feel with a lot of the doing the hourly missions, because you wind up with a ton of stuff. And it might not really be stuff that you want. So you've invested 7,500 EC in each one, but you can sell them for like 10,000 back to the bank. You could put them, you can't put them on the exchange for the most part. A few things you can put on the exchange. So I take that 25% profit and put it back into the fleet in one way or another. Rasul, which ship is it that you really want? Rasul says he can't get the ship he really wants. Which one do you really want? The Voth Rampant Command Flight Deck Carrier. Interesting. I don't know that ship at all, so let me Google it real quick. Okay, the Voth Rampart class command flight deck carrier is a Tier 6 flight deck carrier which may be flown by characters of any faction. It's from an Infinity T6 package. We might actually be able to get one of those, because we have a couple of people who have them. So nothing is impossible for the most part if it's out there, even though it might not be on the exchange. You also might want to look into the trading channel. Russell, we don't pay things in real money because that would be illegal. That's a no-no. People do it too, and they get thrown out of the game and talk about a lose-lose. You lose your money and you lose the ship. It's awful. But that said, let me see if I know of anybody who's got in fact, I might have a T6 coupon from Infinity. I might have an Infinity T6 coupon. I'll have to take a look. I don't open a lot of the Infinity boxes just because I'm broke. This being poor thing really sucks. Okay, this tune doesn't have it, but one of my tunes has an Infinity T6 and a stack of Infinity T5s. More things that probably will wind up being given away as big prizes. You know what, Ursula? Let me see what I can do in terms of getting enough keys to open up all my Infinity boxes and see if we can open up some T6s. And if that's the case, I can maybe put them into the fleet. Because I'm sitting on 7 T6 coupons, and I just bought the Legacy pack before I quit my job. So I've got more than enough ships to hold me over for quite a while. I make no guarantees, but we can certainly try and see what will happen here. So, getting back to things you can do to boost your fleet. So we talked about how you can get EC by doing the hourlies and giving back a portion of the EC. Obviously, there's a stack of work that you can do to get EC. People say, run Tour the Galaxy every day, and you can get up to 750,000 EC per tune per day, which is a lot. But it also takes time, and you have to invest on having a ship that's equipped well enough to get through it. I don't have that at the moment. I used to have a ship that was a gorgeous build for that, and maybe that's something we talk about another day. It's what's a great build for doing that. We have a few people who've got super fast ships, and hopefully we can get somebody on who can talk about that. We're going to try and get Lant in to talk about PvP, because last night was just a blast. Part of that was because we're all friends and we enjoy playing together, so the fact that I could sit there and beat up on DT or Frost before they both turned around and killed me, or Lant killed me 3 or 4 times, nobody went out of it with hurt feelings. And you have to be aware of that sometimes when you're doing PvP, is that people take it way too seriously and they take it personally. I don't know how to tell you this, folks, but it's a game. If you don't do well at it, you're not a bad person. If you do well at it, you're not a good person. Those are inherent values based on other attributes you have, not if you've got a big fast ship and can go pew pew pew. So let's get back over here to what we need to do. So we talked about getting EC. Expertise you accumulate, and oh my god, getting rid of expertise is a pain. I wish I could sell my expertise. I have no idea how much I've got, but it's a crazy amount. Other things you need to fill are obviously going to be it's duty officers. Duty officers you can pick up at the exchange. You can pick up duty officers by going down to Starfleet Academy and picking up the personnel missions, if you want to. They cost a little bit of dilithium, but not a ton. We'll run down there because we're going to do something else while we're down there. We'll beam down to Starfleet Academy. Speaking of getting dilithium, this is a slightly more tedious how to get dilithium. Okay, remember I told you could sell things back to the nice requisition officers? Well, bartenders will feel pity for you too, so you can sell things back for 50% to these nice bartenders right here. Say hi to the bartender. Hi! At the moment, I'm exchanging some of my dilithium for Zen, because I want to buy some tickets. Yes, you can buy tickets directly with EC. You can buy Zen with Dill, and then use the, sorry, you can buy Dill, you can buy Zen with Dill, yeah, I said that right, and then you can buy the master keys with your Zen, and I don't buy that too often. I've got 13,000 at the moment, but the key packs aren't on sale at the moment, and I'm going to wait for them to go back on sale. And more than that, I really like to buy the ring packs where you get one ultimate upgrade with every 20 keys, which is a good deal. So we're going to talk to Commander Viala here really quick, pick up these two missions. Mission number 1 is right here. This isn't going to get you anything other than an accolade. And we're going to come over here and test our knowledge. This one's going to get us 480 dilithium. So, who met with the leaders of the Federation Transport Union? Was it Federation President Nan Bako, Jean-Luc Picard, or Kirtland? Is it Kirtland there? If you don't know, I happen to like Path to 2409, which is this website. I'm going to put this down here in chat. Yeah. Apollo Felgar asks if he or she can have my personal endeavors today. Look at this. Gain salvage. Oh, anti-proton damage. And defeat scorpions over on Nimbus. Holy moly. It's going to be an easy day today. I need easy days. I think we all need easy days. Augmented Dictator. Hi, hi. How are you doing? So nice to have you drop by. So anyway, go over to that site that I just posted there. And when you do that, the person who created this way back in the day has everything done by volume and chapter. And we're looking at 12.1. It was Nan Bako, in case you didn't know. I actually did know this one because I had it yesterday. But yeah, I'm going to cheat. If I want to definitely get that 480 dilithium, I want to get the answers right. So, got 480 dilithium. And joy, I got more expertise. Woohoo! I got way too much expertise. Hold on. Did I pick that one up from her? Yes, I did. Okay, remember I was saying I was going to pick up the Lord chip. It's right there. I already have this one, so I put it in my account bank so one of my other tunes can check through them. So let's talk to the nice personnel officer right here. We're going to submit a request for personnel. So under general recruitment, here's the problem. This is 1,000 dilithium. I'm not spending 1,000 dilithium. But for a tactical officer, it's only 5 dilithium. I'm going to do that one. Engineering, only 5 dilithium. Science Corps, only 5 dilithium. Civil, only 5 dilithium. If you need an R&D person, you can request it here. But again, it's 1,000 dilithium. If you're in a fleet that's got a fairly advanced level, you can go to K13 and get R&D officers. Cheaper than this. Use fleet marks. Don't forget the 3 exchange doff missions. Yeah, there are 3 exchange doff missions. I assume we're talking about reassign. Is that what you're talking about, Rasul? Oh, the Vulcan cultural, the Andorian, and the Tellarite. Thanks. So we'll run out here. I think 2 of them are hiding around the corner here. They tend to be standing over here. This is our Tellarite and our Andorian, and of course, because it's culturally appropriate, you can come over here. Now this is going to be the cultural exchange, where again you can pick up somebody. I'm not going to reassign my underperforming officers. If you do want to reassign people, you can trade in, let's say, 5 white officers for a green. That's up to you. You can also go down the other way. You can reassign your blues to a green and greens to a white. And that gets you more lower officers for fleet projects. Again, we're spending a minimum of dilithium to get a whole bunch. And I have to remember where the Vulcan lady is. Vulcan lady, where are you? That's Professor Meyer. I want to say the Vulcan lady is around here someplace. Vulcan officer, where are you? I know where that one is. Thank you. Turning your useless greens into whites to hand them to your fleet. Yeah, it definitely can be if you're sitting on a bunch of greens. Here we go. Here's the Vulcan. Because gosh darn it, she's not going to be standing there talking to those pesky Tellarites. Okay, so we've run a whole bunch of missions here, all of which are going to wind up getting us more officers. Some of these take a long time. Some of these don't take a long time. But for the most part, these are between 1 and 2 full days. Hey, what the heck, since I'm here... Speaking of dilithium, don't forget, if you're a vet, you can come over here and trade in your unrefined dilithium for faster ways. So instead of doing 8,000 a day, you can do 9,000 a day here. Oops, didn't mean to do that. You guys don't want to see my mail, because it's mostly on how to do stuff. So is there anything here we want to throw in the bank? Yes. Do I have any room left? Yes. And for those of you who tell me that it's weird that I've got some up here and some down here, I think all of my tunes have looked at these 4. I'm going to double check that today. If they have, I will move them over to the fleet bank. Don't sell these on the exchange. They're worth 100 if you trade them in. Sorry, 50 if you trade them in. They're worth like 6 on the exchange. They've got no value on the exchange. So use them for yourself. If you don't need them for that, trade them into your fleet so somebody else can get moved up. Alright, we've got one project done, so I've got my dilithium refined. Now that's on cooldown for the next day. Yeah, Rasul points out that the reason that the Tellarite and the Andorian are arguing is because they're just arguing. They're not arguing about anything, they're just arguing. Both species have a, not a trait, but a tendency towards arguing, because they can. Okay, other ways we can get dilithium, you know all of them. I hope you know all of them. As I said, you can go ahead and you can go through the hourly reputation. If you're sitting on a ton of canisters that you're not going to use, or any of these elite marks, you can trade them in. Do I need to trade them in at the morning? Remember I said I only want to have 9,000 or more in my unrefined ore. This tune's got just shy of 60,000. That's 7 days worth of ore to be refined, so I'm not in a particular hurry to get that stuff refined. If you're a veteran, it automatically refines 8,000 a day. The only thing you have to do is go over and talk to one of these people to get more refined. Okay, so I've got to gain salvage. Well, I traded in all my stuff, so I'm not going to gain salvage off this one. Am I? Well, heck yeah. Let's see if this tune's got an AP weapon. Let's get that out of there. If she's got anything in AP for a ground weapon, we're going to put her off on that project. And we have, that's only a 12. That's going to take forever to do that. Is it? No, it's not. We're going to take that. Let's beam up. We're going to go get us some more dilithium. And we're going to kill all the other projects at one time. Because what the heck? What was the 5 dil requires or rewards? That was 5 dil required for doing those personnel. That's the cost of getting new personnel. Good morning, Mr. Dave. How are you today? Hey, if you're going to join us tonight, I think we're going to start at 6 p.m. tonight. We're going to start something called Throwback Thursdays, where we go back and we look at older missions and older TFOs that aren't used as much, but sometimes have really fun rewards. And Nimbus is one of my favorite ones that very few people do and should do, but they don't. Sav, stop grabbing all Tiberius's Tholians. Goodness gracious. So remember I was telling you these things have like an hour cooldown, and if that's the case you can go back and pick up more of these things. If you look down here, attempt to dampen unknown signal has got a 500 lithium return. But this one's pretty fast. There's nothing really great in it, but it's also not going to kill me to fill it. So let's go get something here that kills most of it. I want to get 32 in the butt. I'd look at these as the head, the body, and the butt, rather than going in the side, because that requires me to actually pay attention. I'm not doing that. So there's one. Here's that 500 that I want. This one's tough because we've got 160 in science. So let's see what we've got that's got 160 in science. Not a lot. We've got the Rhode Island. That gives us about half. So we're still going to have to find a couple of really good ones that have got science buffs. Okay, so looking here at the Geneva Command battle cruisers, it's a plus 35 in science when it's alone, but it's not alone. Okay, this one is going to ignore the plus minus, which we don't care about, but it's still got a good science boost there. So now I need to get 50, 30, and about 20. So 50, 30, and 20 we probably can do here. In fact, we know we can because we've got the Tanius. But we've also got the Breen. Will this do it? Remember, you're not committed till you hit begin assignment. So yeah, that's going to get us that. And we're back into cooldown here. Sobs up and on in the morning. Can you get the multi-vector console from the exchangers only at C-store ships? That is a good question. I want to say it's a C-store ship only because I don't remember ever seeing it in the exchange. Okay, so we're going to get some quick dilithium here. Let's see if we've got a shortcut available. Yes, we do. Here's our fistful of corn. We're going to make that our primary because that gives us a transwarp over to Nimbus. And we're going to run the mission because of the wonderful things it does. Good morning, Harold. Yeah, you know what, Mr. Dave? It is morning here. I've only had one cup of coffee. Because if I were to get a second cup, I'd have to go downstairs, turn on the espresso maker, froth my milk, get my espresso done, enjoy it, and by then, of course, the entire broadcast would be done, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, so remember how I was talking efficiencies? You want to do as many things as possible at once. I need to gain salvage, I need to do AP damage on the ground, I need to defeat D1 arthropods. Right? So if I do all of those at once, I'm going to make myself a little bit more dilithium, a little bit more efficiently, but what the heck, let's do one more. We're going to come over to Yaml and Nuck. We're going to pick up these missions, and it's creatures of the desert that we really want. Admittedly, I'm not going to get my 120 D1 arthropods at one time, but I'm going to get at least 40 of them. And that's because this beacon over here spawns only arthropods. Typically, you can get between 40 and 60 here, so we want to think, what have we got for toys? We've got the Echo Papa 607, and we've got a nice turret. We've got a couple other things we can do, so we're going to launch a few of these things first. Once those are up and running, we'll activate the beacon. But remember, we still want to do AP damage, so we're going to want to shoot things too. While we're waiting for this to spawn, we're going to start our Agni fuel generator. I'm going to free up my people to do what they want to, and that's done by hitting G. Let's bring Denver into the pool. I'll set up a new turret here. If there's anybody that's particularly stubborn, we can go ahead and drop Sompek Lightning on them, but everybody's being really good right now. Gonna do another Agni field. Let's do that super quick. Oops, my Agni field didn't start. Currently we are at 30 dead arthropods. another turret. Reload the Echo Papa. Oops. That brings us to 41 with 14 seconds left. And we're done with that one. So we got at least 40, which is good. But let's go ahead and pick up all these items while we're at it. Because remember, we have to gain salvage. Okay, we got 46 according to that. That's pretty good. Not everything is salvage, but a lot of it is. Okay, so we got all the salvage we can get from here. We're halfway through our AP damage and a third of the way through our D1 arthropods. Now, let's see real quick. We need to go fight some Orions, and to get there, we're going to have to go through the arthropods. Yay! Hey, Rasul, I've been working on the book. For those of you who don't know, we're writing volume 2 of the book. And I found one of the most bizarre explanations of something to the extent that I have no idea what they were trying to say. It took me a while to figure it out. Oops. Oh, somebody else has got those. Okay. So, we're going to come over. Thrak, why the heck are you over there, my dear? Well, it's not my Thrak, that's why. So we're going to start, because we're doing things efficiently, we're going to start Fistful of Gorn, even though we still have to do some arthropods, and we still have to do our other daily down here. It's a good time to get your bridge officers back together. Find your captain. There he is. He is 23 meters away. That's at about the maximum range of my weapon. So I'm going to move in closer. Sompek lightning him. Move in a little bit closer. Agony field him. Start my Echo Papa. Probably shouldn't have to do anything more than that. Pick up some more loot. Okay. So remember, we're trying to get maximum dilithium, maximum endeavors, everything done at once. It's efficient. But what the heck, we threw in a mission at the same time because Fistful of Gorn also rewards you with Law, who is, oops, don't fall off the edge there. That's not my fault. I didn't want to fall off the edge. If you can't climb up something, do a forward somersault. Ooh, these people aren't killing Gorn. How lovely. Not that I really want to kill Gorn, but it gives me more things to use for AP damage. Oh, that's interesting. Did my weapon change? Must have clicked Z. My weapon changed. One of my bosses once accused me of having fat fingers. You know, there's nothing wrong with cheating. You make cheating sound like a bad thing. Did we? Oh, we didn't initiate Fistful of Gorn. Ah, how stupid of me. I had the mission, but apparently I didn't start it. So let's go start it. I was wondering why I wasn't getting any consoles to light up. There we go. Contact Law, you're going to get a cutscene. We don't care, we've seen that cutscene. Going to contact Law again. We're going to contact Law a third time. There it goes. We'll click through all of that. Okay, back to where we were. Yeah, I know there's still 2 missions to do here. Oh, excuse me, 1 mission to do here on top of Fistful of Gorn. But we're trying to maximize our dill, get our endeavors done, do everything we can for our fleet. And not waste our time. It would be really awesome, though, if they'd let us give the fleet the unrefined dill for fleet projects. That would be terrific. Okay, we're going to come down here. Did I miss one? Is there a console up there? Yeah, I have to go get that console. I think. I'm at the canyon. Oh, am I all the way done with this one? I might be done with this one. Hang on a second. In progress, let's go look here. Fistful of corn. Holy moly, all I have to do is go to the canyon. And there's no arthropods down there, so we'll do the shortcut. Well, that worked out well. Let these people have all of them. You can have all those corn. I don't care about the corn. Rasul says, I prefer my army of fabrications and other minions to do the work for me as I lean back and have a nice glass of tea or coffee. If you're an engineer, you have a scotch. Let's see if I picked up this console yet. So anyway, you're going to work your way through the whole Gorn thing, which is really good if you have to kill Gorn. Woohoo, we've already picked this one up. Make sure you've picked up the transporter. Oh, see, we haven't picked up all the transporter stuff. Yay, so I've got another accolade if I get all those. Hey, a little scotch never hurt anybody. Sometimes you need the courage. And then again, sometimes you don't need the stupid. Stupid happens. So if you're joining us tonight for Throwback Thursday and you've got an older TFO or an older mission, like we did Defurry the other day, give us a shout. Now, why am I running without my team to defend me? Because my team will pick a fight. It's telling me that I didn't get the console in the canyon. That's interesting. Otherwise, it would tell me I'm done. Maybe I didn't get close enough to it, but that's okay. Because we activated the transporter. So we're going to activate the decrepit transporter. We're going to go back to the canyon. Now, in theory, if this wants us to do that, it should tell us. And it's not. Interesting. So what did we miss? Oh, no, we're not going to worry about the Gorn engineer. Aha! I don't care about that one. Access the satellite. We did that. Wow. I may have to reboot this one. We've done the canyon. Did we miss something? We must have missed something. Rasul, you have to activate the transporter every time you get there to turn it on, if that's what you're asking. I don't think that's what you're asking. Oops. Maybe I did miss this one up here then. Must be Sav if somebody's throwing oversized cookies at me. This is interesting. Which console didn't get activated? Interesting, interesting. None of them are giving me flashy lights, so something's missed or I've got a glitch. And considering how often I just use this to come down here blindly, it's entirely possible I've missed something. More stuff for salvage. Invictus says there's no such thing as an oversized cookie. Mr. Dave says, I think it's interesting that you're so involved into this game. It's really too complex for my tastes. At best, I get into my event and call it a day. As long as it's fun, Mr. Dave, do it the way you want to do it. Nothing else besides how it's fun for you matters. And if anyone says you should only do it their way, they're wrong. You do it your way. Yeah, I'm into the game. It appeals to me. As if it was slightly warmer, I wouldn't be here. I'd be out on my bicycle, because as crazy as I am about a thing, the other thing I'm nuts about is bicycling. So for the moment, we're going to skip Gordon Canyon. We're going to come out here and do our AP damage, and we're going to kill things. As Rasul says, as long as it's a game, so as long as you are having fun, you're doing it right. You are absolutely 100% correct. Okay, so I'm done with my AP damage. So I'm going to finish this guy up. Since I still have to do a fair number of the other guys, let's put on a weapon that's a little bit better. Let's get out of a red alert first. Come on, take me out of red alert. Thank you. What have we got? We've got the snowblower. Ooh, that's for next week. Let's take a plasma beam rifle. I'm not a big rifle person, to be honest. But, you know. Ooh, we have the giant scorpion. There's the giant scorpion. What the heck? Let's make another 60 dill while we're standing here. Okay, that's interesting. I put Sompek Lightning on and it locked up for a moment. Make sure you get all your toys, because we're going to sell those for salvage in just a minute. I'm apparently not the only person who's got a ton of arthropods. And if your map gets super busy and there's a lot of people on it, switch to a different map. And there we go. The Lucari wrist apparatus. I have no idea what that one is. Let's get a little echo pop going here. We're up to 74. We have to do 25 and 20. We have to do 46 more. Yeah, I do math weird, so. But it works for me. Don't worry, I'll go back and get that. I know we have to still do our salvage. Ooh, chain bug zapper. I like that concept. Okay, I have to tell you the bug zapper story. My family's from Sweden about 3 generations ago, but we still have a lot of family there, and they come over to visit. And one of my cousin's uncles, so what would that be? My dad's brother twice removed? My dad's cousin twice removed? Whatever. Came over and was chatting with my dad on the back porch of the house, and my dad had a can of bug spray with him. And my dad's cousin, twice removed, was asking if it was really effective, and my dad, being a smartass, said yeah, picks up the can, throws it at the bug, and lo and behold, absolutely smacks the bug. Bug dies. And my dad said, see? And ever since then, bug zapping has had a humorous part in my heart. I enjoy it when people have bug zappers. Okay, now here's the bad part. We need to get rid of some of this salvage, because we are all out of that. So let's go ahead and go through here and start salvaging stuff. So we're going to go salvage, salvage. Remember how I said we want to be as efficient as possible? So all that stuff we've been picking up that we can salvage. That wasn't what I wanted to do. Hold on. Giant scorpion came back. Let's go get the giant scorpion again. Up. Too far away. Yes, you can make those things appear magically. We want to get back to that one. And we want to go back and salvage that. What else have we got here that we can salvage? Picked up all that stuff. There's a level 5. We don't care about that. Let's go ahead and do that one. Anything else in there right now? I pick up a lot of food here, which is great because I do a lot of stuff where I want to get food. Okay, so we're at 146 of our salvage. Pick that up. We still have 16 arthropods to do. So let's go do them. Not getting as many drops today as we frequently get. So at 4 this morning, I was watching the Discovery Channel, and they had a thing about the death zone in one part of the ocean, where it looks like it's simply super saturated with salt, and therefore anything that goes into there dies relatively quickly. Which I thought was really cool. When we were in New Zealand, we ran into one more scorpion. Come on, one more scorpion. We ran into a similar thing where the fjords of the South Island have the fresh water coming off the mountains, but what it does is it traps the heavier water underneath it and becomes a death zone. There's an interstitial death zone. Rasul, well, it's not top-tier DPS, but the combination of basically continuous self-heal and shield recovery and the option to swap to a full-on healing mode, yeah, that's sweet. All right, so we're a little low on our salvage. Let's go through here and see if there really is anything that we can't salvage to get done with this stuff. And yes, you can put on your salvage filter. Okay, so these are things that we can salvage. Do we want to salvage an engineering emitter? No. Do we want to salvage that? No. That would get us our salvage right away, but that's silly. Here's an Omni that I crafted for the party. Do we want to salvage that? No. Do we want to salvage our Kobali beam weapon? That would get us everything in one swell foop, but honestly, I don't really want to salvage that. So I thought we'd get a little bit more salvage out of this. But that's the way it goes. But we're not quite done with our dilithium, because we have one more mission right here. And all this is running around, finding the contraband that the Orions have dropped off. There's one. Yes, it's up on your mini-map. You don't have to try and figure it out. Sometimes the lighting isn't great because this is a deserty planet. That's 2. That's 3. This is 4. And it looks like the last one will be right up here. 5. Okay, so we didn't get all of our salvage. No biggie. There's some of the dilithium we wanted. That's 480. Let's go see Yamlin Nook. We're going to turn in those 2 other missions. Creatures of the Desert. We got 680 for that one. And everything else is completed and we've been paid. So we got about 1,400 dilithium for that. Not bad for a few minutes. If we'd finished the Fistful of Gorn, we would have gotten a little bit more dilithium. We did part of our salvage, and we also got 2 of our endeavors done. So for our very rare, we got another 100,000 EC. And for our rare, we picked up a quarter spec and some marks packs. So you think, okay, and a reroll token. Well, marks packs you may not think are that great because if you're sitting on a ton of them, but remember marks translates into being able to do those hourly reputations. So yeah, getting marks packs is great. I stockpile all of my spec points here, so when somebody's ready for them, rather than having 6 here and 3 there and 5 there, I can give them to the person who needs them the most. All right. So didn't get that quite as efficiently done as I liked because we didn't get our salvage and we didn't get our Gorn mission done. But that's the way it rolls some mornings. 9th rule and rescues. Hi, Razor23. Yeah, Nimbus is awesome. I still love Nimbus. You can get so much loot on it because it's just a fully developed map. New Romulus is similar. Defura is similar. There's some great stuff to do. Fast loot from Crystalline Catastrophe, by the way, yes. If you're not top damage, you don't get as nice of loot. But the thing is, please don't forget that if you stick around after you defeat the crystalline entity, all those shards that are floating around can be used for salvage. Not salvage for this purpose, but salvage so that you can work on your re-engineering. And I love Badlands. Badlands is Loot City. Oh, I love Badlands. We usually run back to Deep Space Nine, trade it all in, or somebody calls up a Kurama trader so we can get rid of all of it. Ninth rule, rescue and search in space. Patrols are fast. Yes, please don't forget, though, that Argala Wanted is also terrific. Argala Wanted, go in with the team with somebody who's a big, heavy hitter. You can run that thing in a couple of minutes, and terrific loot from that one. I'm going to call it here. Got other things to do. We will be back tonight, 6 p.m. for Throwback Thursday. If there is something particular you would like to do, let us know. We're looking at older TFOs and older missions. And if somebody's interested, we may run a mission or a whole story arc start to finish. That hasn't been done in a while. This might be, obviously, Breen. It might be Nimbus. We haven't done the Spectre arc in a long time. Oh, Razor, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate that very much. So, we'll see you guys in a couple hours. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.